Why don't you start?
I have some big news. I will show it off here. So this kind of pertains to some of the games I've been playing lately. But dun 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 dun, I finally landed a PlayStation 5.
Can't even fit in the camera.
I
Darn thing's
can't.
too big.
Dude, this console is massive. I actually have it sitting right there next to my Series X, and it dwarfs the Series X. I mean, the Series X might be a little bit wider, man, but that PS5, man,
That's a tall boy.
it's girthy. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But
But it's got those
yeah,
curves, man.
I guess I'll go ahead. You know what? I'll start with my first PlayStation 5 game that I started to play. Due to recommendation from Phoenix, he recommended I start playing the game Astro's Playroom, and I'll give it to Phoenix. I feel like that was a really good kind of entry level title to kind of start with the PlayStation 5. I mean, I guess it kind of was
Well, it
meant.
was advertised as pretty much a free tech demo,
Yeah,
so it's just a good way to get familiar with the console. So, what did you think
especially the
about it?
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big tech demo for the controller too. But I actually thought it was far better than it probably should have been.
hmm
It was actually like a really fun game. I kind of like the whole nostalgia trip kind of through like the history of like PlayStation. I oh man, it's killing me. I don't remember the levels, but there was like each one kind of represented a new like leap into technology for PlayStation. Like one was about RAM, another one was about like I think it was another one was about a solid state drive.
hmm
Another one was represented like a cooling area. I don't remember what the fourth one
The
might have been.
GPU one, the jungle one.
GPU. Oh, okay. Which actually, now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember which one I liked the most. There was one that was oh man, which one? The second one. I'm trying to remember. The second one was my favorite. Not the one where you play as the ball. I'm trying to remember that one.
That's the. I know it's the one that ends with the PS1 stuff at the end, the Meadow
Yeah,
one or
yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
That one's my favorite by far. I think the one I liked the least probably was might have been the first one. I didn't really like the. Oh, I guess it depends on what order you go in. So me saying the first one, I guess doesn't really help
Yeah, I
people.
watched your playthrough, and you actually, I think the level you started with was the one that I ended with. So they're all
Really.
backwards, but
But yeah, I guess the best way to kind again, I can't remember which form of like or computer technology each one covered. The main way I kind of find myself remembering them is by which like vehicle or thing you inhabit at the end, because
hmm.
at one you get in a spaceship, two you get into a ball, there's a third one where you do a frog, and then what was the fourth one was like
Monkey in the jungle.
a monkey in the jungle. Yeah. So I would definitely say the second one was probably my favorite. Do you remember which one you liked the most?
I don't know if I have a favorite per se. I mean, it's been a while since I ran through the whole game. To be fair though, my it's like a mainstay in my house. My daughter plays it just about every day. She always wants to play the robot game, so uh, I see her primarily play the beach level the most. But
Really, that's the cooling one. I remember that one.
yeah, but it was fun. I enjoyed like the nostalgia aspect for sure, and all the little Easter eggs. Like I don't know how many of them you came across, but you got like Kratos and his son on the beach. You got
I saw that
Snake
one.
hiding around. So they did a lot to kind of inject a lot of
I
personality
liked
into it and love for the
there was
PlayStation IPs and whatnot.
there was the Death Stranding guy stuck in mud. He
Oh
had like
yeah.
the little baby. He had like the baby stuck on his chest.
Mhm.
And then in the jungle one, if you look everywhere, there's like I think you see Crash Bandicoot on the side of one of the buildings, and then you see Lara Croft like hanging from a ledge, and then you see Uncharted, Drake, and all those people. You pretty much see, one of every major, I don't know, PlayStation character, which was kind of neat. I don't know. I again, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'd say it took me maybe 2.5 hours to beat. And I don't want to say I was totally completionist, but I definitely made sure to kind of check everything. I think the only thing I didn't really do was some of the. I think when you beat the game, you unlock some like timed, like different versions of some of the levels. I
Yeah,
think
there's
I
some
only did
quick
like
little
one or
speed runs.
yeah, I only did one or two of those. But I mean, everything else, I played through each level maybe two or three times or something like that, and I really enjoyed it. I liked all the music.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, there was a specific song that I actually really liked. It was oh gosh, I'm not even gonna try. But the one on the level that I really liked where you play as the ball, that was the one that I actually found the best. That was also the one where there's like electricity or
Hmm.
something. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's all I had to say. I mean, I thought it was a really fun game. It really, I guess, I thought it did an awesome job pretty much of kind of introducing you to every new feature for the controller.
So that was my kind of question
Um,
for you: is what like new feature kind of stood out to you? I mean, it's really about the controller. Like everything
mhm.
else, as far as the graphical power and whatnot of the console, I think is kind of a given. But the controller is kind of the big,
Yeah.
you could call it innovative or novel kind of thing they've introduced with the system. So, what do you think of the controller? Since that's kind of the big thing.
I really like it. I definitely think that at least with this game, I don't say with this game, but I think some of the features with the controller for me are a little bit gimmicky. Like the whole blowing on it, I was just kind of eh. Um, I mean, maybe it's because I have headphones on, but I don't think I remember hearing any sounds coming from it. And I
Mm,
remember that was like a big thing. So I guess if you're going to use it, you can't really have a headset on because you
that's a
won't be
good
able to hear.
point. Yeah, the audio on the controller. I mean, they've been doing that since the PS4, but the games I play on the PS5 use it fairly substantially. I'm trying to
Hmm.
remember which game I felt like used it a lot. Ghost of Tsushima used it a bit. That was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did it need it? I'm trying
Um,
to think of what it would even use it for.
it like cued you to parts things in the environment. Like it's almost like an ambient thing. It's not ever anything that's required of you from a gameplay standpoint, but it kind of adds some immersion to it when you have like echoes or extra audio cues kind of coming from the controller. Sometimes it's like I don't want to say surround sound because that's the wrong way. Ambient really is probably the best way to describe it, but you'll have like sounds from the environment come through there while characters are speaking through the screen, or they'll flip it sometimes depending how close they are to you. Like there's some neat things they did.
I mean, again, I will say, I think because I had a headset on, I don't remember hearing anything coming from my controller.
Oh, that makes
When I have
sense.
when I have these headphones on, man, I can't hear. There could be World War III going outside, and I can't hear
Yeah,
a thing.
that's an interesting thing
Uh,
I never thought about because I mean I like the audio from the controller, but I don't use the headset too often. I never really thought about
mhm.
those. If you use a headset, it's pretty much a wasted feature. So that's probably why it's never anything that's overly crucial to gameplay. It's always kind of just a extra
Yeah.
little add-on kind of deal. But
Definitely, I would say maybe the best. Well, I would say maybe definitely the best thing is probably the haptic feedback triggers.
mhm.
Which you guys kind of explained to me midstream. I was like, what is haptic feedback?
Well, you were kind of
Um,
right because haptics just mean touch. So I mean you were kind of queuing up the touchpad, which is technically haptic,
oh
but
yeah.
we're talking about like haptic feedback. So the controller kind of rumbles and vibrates and gives you information about like trigger sensitivity and stuff like that.
I definitely think that is the big cool addition to the controller. I don't know if they did that for PlayStation 4. Again, I never
Mm,
owned one, so
no, they didn't.
but it definitely is cool. I mean, I even think the touchpad thing is even kind of gimmicky to an extent. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with gimmicky things. It definitely adds to some experiences, but for the most part, the main thing you want is for the controller to feel comfortable and for those triggers to feel great, whenever you're playing stuff. Because that's what you're going to be using mostly in you know, the main four buttons. But
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, all that felt great. I want to. I'll mention it. I mentioned in my stream. The only thing I don't like about the PlayStation controller is I don't like the place of the. I don't like the place of
You don't
the
like the
left side
parallel
analog stick.
sticks. Yeah.
No, I'm very much used to Xbox controllers where you have the D-pad here, analog here, and again, I got tiny hands. I'm a tiny hand man, and I just feel like I have to like really reach for that. And I
Mm.
like it better up here. It feels more comfortable. I'd much rather have to reach for the D-pad. I don't,
I,
but
I, I agree to an extent. Like I've always, well, I won't say always, because I mean back when I was younger, I was a PlayStation kid, but I mean starting with 360 era, I was Xbox majority for the time. So I definitely got used to the staggered sticks, and I feel like I prefer. I feel like for the most part, most games, if you're thinking about kind of which controls you use the most, it makes most sense to have that joystick up at the top left and then face buttons on the right. But I'll tell you, for the PlayStation 5, it hasn't felt as awkward to me. Granted, my hands are not as tiny as yours, so
no,
I don't have as
you're
big of
taller
an
than me.
issue grabbing it. Because I honestly, I did not like the PS3 controller. I did not like the PS4 controller a whole lot. But the PS5 one, I feel like overall it's comfortable. I can get a hold of the analog just fine, and the triggers I think are a
I,
big jump up.
I will say I would be kind of curious. Oh, what's playing? I don't even realize I'm playing stuff in the background. I would be very curious to see because I feel like like a single player campaign story mode kind of game like Astros, I feel like it was fun. I'd be very curious how it would feel to play like a competitive shooter with the analogs
I
for
played
me, like in that location.
I played Destiny on it back in the day and played it just fine.
Really?
Yep. I mean, here's the thing: it's whatever you get used to. I mean, people are going to argue one is better than the other. I mean, I do prefer staggered sticks, but ultimately, you spend enough time with either one of them. They both perform well. They both, are accurate as long as you get used to where the positions are. Both can be used just fine. So I don't think
Mhm.
it's like some big major issue that this should be the reason you don't buy a PS5 is because the analog stick is down at the bottom. But if it is a big issue for you, they have controllers that have the swappable sticks. They can put the stick up at the top if you want, or they already have them built in that way. Granted, I think you lose the adaptive triggers if you go with one of those third-party controllers.
No,
But
I wouldn't
yeah,
want to lose that though. I guess while we're here, I'll go ahead and combine just my thoughts on the PS5 in general,
yeah.
I guess. Um, I would say so far so good. I really enjoy. I'm playing another game which we'll talk about, but Astros was a really fun, game, and I'm subscribed to the premium membership, so I have like an access to like a crap ton of games. I will say I'm not really crazy about the UI, or maybe just like the dashboard in general. Like I don't think it's again. I skipped the PS4 generation, and I'm coming straight from like the PlayStation 3 to PS5, which is probably odd
Yeah.
for a lot of people, but. I'm just not crazy about the dashboard. I think it's a little. I think the Xbox is a little bit better in like just kind of figuring out where things are. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to that
I would think it's because you're
environment, that
used to it.
ecosystem.
Because I hear
Yeah.
all the time people come from PlayStation over the Xbox, they have a pain trying to find anything. So I think familiarity is really what's going to kind of lean you one way or the other.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll say my biggest issue, and it's been this way for a long time with PlayStation, they always try to go super minimal on their interface, which in general I would like. The problem is, like, it's hard, I think, to access, like, a bunch of your games and stuff easily. Like, they don't give you a lot of customization over, like, what you have on your main toolbar, how you can get to certain things. I know they are adding stuff. I don't know if they've done it yet, but they'll be adding folders and stuff like that that can help you more easily navigate games. But with the Xbox, you have all those pinned applications, which I've always
Yes,
liked.
which I
So,
love. Yeah,
I mean,
but we
I
also come from like a computer. Like we deal a lot with computers though, so we're very much used to like the Windows, kind of ecosystem, or kind of just
Well, we're
figuring
not the
out.
only
I
two
don't know.
people in the world that use Windows. I mean,
Well,
they're
I know, but we're probably on the computer more than more than a lot of people. I don't
if
know.
you say so. I don't know. I mean, both interfaces have their pros and cons. Like, I do appreciate the minimal look that PlayStation always goes with, but it comes at the sacrifice of having less customization and less stuff to easily
Hmm.
access. I haven't had a major issue with it just yet, only because, I only have a handful of games on there. If I
It took
had 30, 40 games I wanted to jump around between, it's more of a hassle.
it took me like 20 minutes, I'm not kidding, to figure out how to because I got a big, PlayStation 5 bundle, and it came with like 25 of those 20, or it came with four of those
Right.
$25 gift cards. It took me like 15 to 20 minutes to figure out where to go to redeem those cards. And
You could have looked at the instructions in the back of the card. Just saying.
I guess I could have, but I kind of want to like figure everything out myself. I mean, I kind of like kind of just it's a new console. I like kind of like playing around with things,
Well,
but
okay, so it was in the store. You go to the store, you click on redeem, and there it was. I mean, that's the same place
no,
that,
but the redeem button is at like the top right. There's like in the store, and then at the top right of the store, there's a button
yeah,
that's
it's a
like
menu
three
button.
dots, and then you hit that menu. And I don't know. I didn't know where that menu button was.
That's fair. I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate a little bit here. I've had just as many issues though on the Xbox dashboard. And here's one thing I will say about Xbox's dashboard, which is
The party stuff is sometimes it can be really infuriating.
well, okay, but that's a different issue. Here's my trying to think of a good way to frame this because it's a good and a bad thing. Xbox likes
Mhm.
to change their interface all the time. Like, give it 6 months, they're going to change something about the way it looks, which is nice because you always have this evolving dashboard. But I'm always having to figure out where stuff is at. For a while, I kind of took a break from paying attention to all the changes, and I tried to find something after about a year or two of not really digging into it. It took me forever to find it, and that was on the Xbox, which I'm more familiar with in general. So, at least on PlayStation, for the most part, once they've set it a certain way, that's it. So there's good and bad to both approaches. I mean, the PlayStation dashboard is perfectly functional. So I don't know. I think it's at least clean. I do like the cleanliness of it. The Xbox dashboard I felt has got a little more cluttered over the years. So I don't know.
And again, I'm like nitpicking. I'm not. There's absolutely nothing that I've encountered that's turned me off from it so early. And I can guarantee you, this thing, I'm going to be playing the heck out of this thing for the next month or two.
Well, I got a lot of PlayStation stuff to go back to too.
Mm-hmm. It's actually funny. I was actually thinking. I don't know what you guys think. How that might go. But I'm actually thinking about maybe going through every God of War game leading up to the new one.
When you say every God of War game, are you talking about just the numbered ones? Or are you talking about like Ascension and Chains of Olympus and was it Ghost of Sparta? There's a bunch of little mini ones that.
I think some of those, but I definitely at least want to play through the main 4 titles. Not granted that has nothing to do with PS5 because those are older games. But I don't know. I kind of was thinking of, I don't know. I remember them being fairly short. I only played the first one. The first one was only maybe
short.
7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are a little longer. But you could do it if you get on it. When does Ragnarok come out? It's like
November 8th or 9th or something.
Yeah, so you got time. I mean, honestly, the newest God of War is going to be the longest one for you to play.
That's the one. Yeah, that's probably the one I need to play the most out of all of them.
Yes. Yeah, don't play the new one without playing that one.
Yeah.